Excuse me. Can I disturb you a second?
No.
You could be a little bit nicer about it.
Keep quiet. In case you haven't noticed, we're somewhere that requires silence and tranquility.
Excuse me. Sir, please, just a moment.
Yes, what is it? I'm not deaf, you know.
I am sorry to disturb you in your work, sir, but...
This young Mammothus primigenius is barely 40,000 years old. Fantastic, wouldn't you say, miss?
Yes. Probably.
What do you mean, probably?
I don't know.
You don't know? Oh, you don't know, I see. What can I do for you, my dear child?
To tell you the truth, I don't know very much about mammoths, and I'm not here as a student. In fact, I'm a lawyer.
It's all right. Nobody's perfect. All the same, the study of the Pleistocene period is fascinating.
I'm sure it is, but I'm sorry to say my current mission is totally monopolizing my time. Another time, maybe.
Ah, that's what they all say. But anyway, let me present myself. I'm Cornelius Ponce, Emeritus Professor and Lecturer at the University of Barrockstadt. I'm proud to say that I'm head of the Department of Paleozoology at our university.
Kate Walker. Pleased to meet you. It wasn't really my intention to stop off here, but I'll confess, this university is really very impressive.
Ah, indeed. There's such a tradition of learning here, and so much knowledge, a real depth of culture, intelligence, and gray matter. I myself did my studies here and never left.
Actually, I'm here because I've been summoned by the rectors of the university.
Oh, I see. You must have made a mistake on your enrollment form.
Oh, no. I haven't come here to study. I have an important matter of inheritance to attend to. I have to find the heir.
And you hope you will find him here?
I'm not altogether sure. But you see, my train broke down coming into Barrockstadt Station.
In that case, my dear, you must come to one of my lectures. Here's a question for you. Do you know what the Proboscidean order is?
The Probowhatian?
Ah, you see? There are gaps in your knowledge that need refreshing.
I feel I've lost my way a little here. I could really do with your help.
Oh, my dear child, you've chosen your moment. I absolutely must finish off my lecture for this afternoon.
It's a lecture about mammoths?
Oh, yes and no. More specifically, it is about their migration. Do excuse me, I need to concentrate.
To tell you the truth, I'm looking for Mr. Hans Vorarlberg. He's the sole heir of a very unusual factory. My company is in charge of negotiations for the takeover of this factory. At last word, he was living in Syberia. So, as soon as my train is ready, I'll be continuing my journey eastwards.
Syberia. Ah, Syberia. But what was it you said again?
Said what?
You mentioned a name. The person you are looking for.
Vorarlberg. Hans Vorarlberg. Do you know him?
Hans Vorarlberg. How could I forget him? Such an extraordinary fellow. So inventive. We shared a passion for mammoths, you know, and we bonded over this passion. Without it, I confess, I would have had little to do with an odd, ageless retard like Hans. At the time, we were both students. Well, sort of. Put it this way. Hans had special permission to attend paleontology lectures. You see, he didn't really have the necessary qualifications. In exchange, Hans did a few odd jobs around the university.
Your Hans Vorarlberg sounds uncannily like the one I'm looking for.
I'm not sure, my dear. Hans was above all questions of money and business. Just to imagine him running a factory, perish the thought.
Can you tell me a little bit more about him?
He was always a mystery to me. He never said very much, never quite seemed to grasp what you said to him. He expressed himself instead through his incredible mechanical contraptions. His inventions, I admit, have been much appreciated by the university. The few times we really did talk, it was about his strange interest for mammoths and a doll. Some sort of doll that obsessed him.
A doll, you say?
Yes, he kept talking about it. One day he described it to me. A sort of children's toy. A miniature mammoth mounted by a maut. It appears he found it in a cave not far from his home. The event all sounds very dramatic. His account was slightly confused, but it awoke a great interest in me.
What do you mean?
To my knowledge, there is only one tribe who made figurines featuring a maut, and that tribe is the Yukols. They live in the farthest reaches of Syberia, and for them, the dolls constituted a sacred object, illustrating one of their central legends. How such a doll made the journey from the frozen Siberian north to a cave in the French Alps is a mystery to me. Even today, it is beyond my comprehension.
Have you considered that Hans Vorarlberg was maybe making it up? You said yourself he didn't seem to have all his mental facilities intact.
No, that's impossible. Hans couldn't invent a story like that. The doll is a sacred part of the Syberia legend. He described it to me in exact detail. Syberia itself is a chimera that paleontologists of the world are very fond of pursuing.
Arriving in Barrackstadt is an amazing experience. I've never seen such a station.
You came by train?
Yes, in a kind of clockwork train with a spring mechanism that winds down regularly.
You mean you drive a train? Young ladies of today never cease to amaze me.
Oh, no, I'm not the engineer. The train's engineer is actually an automaton. I am sorry, all this probably sounds very strange.
A clockwork train, driven by an automaton. I once knew a man long ago who could have invented such a train. It was he who designed the bandstand in the main square. To think that he was even capable of creating such a gadget. He was astounding, a true genius. But oddly, at the same time, he was also almost a child. It was as if his mental and physical evolution had definitively halted at the age of 10. Can you believe that?
Yes. I think I can believe that. At least I'm beginning to. My train stopped in a peculiar aviary. It's very odd. A lot of bird species seem to seek harbor there.
Ornithology is far from being my favorite subject, but I must concede that the station is the pride of the university. It was initially intended for teaching purposes, but then birds started arriving from all around the world. It seems that there are still rare species breeding there and flourishing.
Are there? Can you give me an example?
I have been told about a kind of bird with peculiar habits. Let's see now, the Amazon cuckoo, that's right. But, I'm so foolish, I can't remember what was so special about it. Just that its behavior is very peculiar.
The Amazon? Where's the Amazon? What is the Amazon?
I'm sorry, my dear, but one cannot learn everything in a lifetime. Specialization is the key to real knowledge. Now, why don't you pay a visit to our library?
Thank you very much. If I were to say Forest Sauvignon to you, what would you say?
Oh, let's see. Sauvignon. Sauvignon? I would say it's some kind of tropical shrub, don't you think?
We are talking about the same plant, then. It is a very rare shrub with small, juicy fruits. I found a book about the Amazon, and it says that there are even Sauvignon plants growing right here in Bergstadt. You wouldn't know where, would you?
Amazon Sauvignon plants here? No, I don't think there are any. Highly implausible, but you should ask the station master. He is keeper of the greenhouse at our university, so he could tell you more than me.
Oh, thanks very much. Professor, how do I say this? You see, I didn't think I'd need a lot of money when I set out. And it turns out I need money after all. It's a delicate matter, I know, but I was wondering if you could help me out.
My dear, it would be a pleasure, but you see, I barely have enough myself to cover my meager expenditure on what I'm paid by the university.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend or...
However, if we look at the example of Hans, it is true that our university always rewards people who perform some service for it. This is our dear rector's jurisdiction, however.
I'll leave you in peace. I hope I haven't disturbed you too much.
Sorry? No, not at all, my dear child.
Hello?
So, you got him then, this air?
Ah, it's you, Mr. Marson. Good day, and how are you, sir?
I'll feel a whole lot better when this whole business is over and the sales contract is signed. Where the hell are you?
I'm in Bergstadt.
What? What in God's name are you doing there?
It's a magnificent university town. It would appear Hans Vorarlberg once passed by here several years ago.
So if he isn't there anymore, then there's no point hanging around.
I hear what you're saying, sir, but I have good reason to believe that Hans Vorarlberg is still alive. For the time being, I'm trying to gather extra information from people who have known him.
What's your next destination?
I'm not exactly sure yet.
Doesn't sound like you know too much, Kate.
I just need a bit of time, Mr. Marson.
Yeah, well, time is what you ain't got. Keep me posted.
I'm sorry to disturb you.
What can I do for you, miss?
Where might I find some Forest Sauvignon plants, please?
No place around here, that's for sure. I don't know what you're talking about. That stuff's from the Amazon.
You know, for someone who knows nothing about the plant, you seem pretty well informed about which mysterious faraway country it comes from.
Oh, Amazon, Peru, Papua New Guinea, it's all the same to me. You gotta go. Gotta work.
Wait, don't go. You know what? I don't think he was being totally straight with me. Everything okay, Oscar?
Yes, Kate Walker. I am awaiting your instructions.
You don't know where I might find any Amazon Forest Sauvignon, do you?
No, Kate Walker.
Oscar, the sailors have agreed to tow the train, but they want to get paid for it. I suppose you have some petty cash on board to cover traveling costs?
No, there is nothing like that. You will note, however, Kate Walker, that every effort has been made to ensure maximum passenger comfort.
Okie dokie. I'll have to sort this one out by myself, then. Oscar, see you later, alligator.
In a while, Kate Walker.
Excuse me, station master, but I need you again.
Can't you see I am very, very busy?
No.
Well, I am. Very busy indeed. But, okay, I think I can give you a minute of my time.
I'm looking for a kind of little juicy berry. You don't know where I could find some?
Look, lady, the station doesn't have any Sauvignon berries, not even Forest Sauvignon.
Funny you should mention it. That's exactly what I was looking for. Forest Sauvignon.
Sauvignon, raspberries, red currants, they're all the same to me. And we don't grow none of them here.
But you see, I have just read a very interesting book which says that the rare Sauvignon berry is actually cultivated here in the famous Barokstadt University aviary itself.
Well, if it's in a book, then don't believe everything you read, miss.
I don't know why, but I don't think you're telling me the truth.
What do you mean? I don't know. How should I know where to find your stupid grave? Go ask your professor, what's his name, Pons, the paleontologist.
But you're the master of this station, so you should know better than anyone.
Nobody tells me anything. I don't know. Go see the old guy with the fossils.
I won't disturb you any longer, Mr. Station Master.
Welcome to Barokstadt, miss.
Do excuse me, Professor. Professor, sorry to disturb you again.
What is it you want to know, miss?
You wouldn't know where the forest Sauvignon plants are kept in Barkstadt, would you?
Why do you think there are Sauvignon plants here?
I read about it in a book at the library.
Try going to see the station master. If such a shrub exists, he will have a better idea than anyone.
It's actually he who sent me to you. I thought it a little strange, but he definitely said ask the paleontologist. You're the only one here, aren't you?
Yes indeed. What a strange way to behave. Well, I think he must have made a mistake, that's all. Nobody tells me anything here. Maybe you should ask the rectors. After all, they are in charge of the university.
All right, thanks. I'll leave you in peace. I hope I haven't disturbed you too much.
Sorry? No, not at all, my dear child.
Do excuse me, Professor. Professor, sorry to disturb you again. Professor, I have brought you something that should be of interest to you. Look.
What have you got there, then? Let's see. An effigy of a mammoth. But this is Hans' doll, is it not? Yes, of course it is. How on earth did you... Oh, my God. It's in my hands. It exists. It really exists. Please do excuse me. I'm deeply moved.
You see? Your Hans and my Vorarlberg heir are one and the same.
This is incredible. After all these years, how can I ever thank you, my dear? Oh, I must waste no time. I'm off to my laboratory. I must study this carefully. May I borrow your treasure a moment?
Well, actually,
Don't worry, miss. I will take the greatest care of it. But I need to study it. You see, it has such importance to me that this very afternoon I shall deliver an impromptu lecture to my students about this very object. If you are interested in Hans Vorarlberg, then it is essential that you attend.
do you think so?
Obviously. Give me your telephone number and I will call you the moment my lecture begins. I will return you your doll at the end. You have my word.
Gentlemen, forgive me for disturbing you again, but I have a little problem.
A little problem, a little problem. Everyone has little problems now, you know.
They are kept to oneself, and they don't stop the world from turning.
Nor trains from leaving stations.
Are you sure there are no Amazon Sauvignon plants in Barokstadt? Because I have just interviewed the station master and the paleontologist, and what they said really didn't convince me that there wasn't any here.
We are quite definite on this point. There are no Sauvignon plants growing in Barokstadt.
You see, miss, the Amazon Forest Sauvignon is a rare shrub that requires very special conditions for growth.
That's right. Conditions that are very hard to reproduce, believe you me.
Difficult, but not impossible. Fortunately, our garden has proved very successful.
Your garden? So, there is a garden in Barokstadt?
Oh, the garden. Well, if there was one, it would be only a little garden hidden behind the station. But our station master would be very proud of it.
He would take very good care of it, too. Everything would grow marvelously if we were able to cultivate it at all, and it would be all down to his gardening prowess.
And we would be proud as punch. And we wouldn't forget the role the paleontologist might play in this.
What's the paleontologist got to do with it all?
Without him and without his laboratory, how would we make the wine, do you think?
And it would be good wine indeed, my dear colleagues, would it not?
Oh, yes, a delightful balm to soothe away our long hours of toil and our heavy responsibilities.
We would wait impatiently every year for the arrival of the year's produce.
So, if I have understood you correctly, there are indeed Sauvignon plants in Barokstadt. They are cultivated in a garden behind the station, then turned into wine by the paleontologist's loving care, and finally, the pleasure of tasting is yours. If I'm not very much mistaken, gentlemen, you have a minor racket operating here.
Miss, you do go jumping to some hasty conclusions.
We never said that. That's not what we said at all.
We were talking in the conditional, with ifs and woulds.
So, what would happen if I had such a hunch?
You would have to keep it to yourself, of course.
Yes, if you would be so kind as to keep it a secret. It would only be a small local concern producing barely a few bottles every year.
That's right, nothing so grandiose as a business. Otherwise, we'd be liable to be fined. So, we can't count on your discretion, can't we?
Don't worry, I have no intention at all of getting messed up in anything.
Here we are, busy chatting, and look at the clock. It's tea time.
Already? My word, doesn't time fly by?
Thank you for a charming visit, miss.
And thank you, gentlemen. Excuse me, Station Master, but I need you again.
Can't you see I am very, very busy?
No.
Well, I am. Very busy indeed. But, okay, I think I can give you a minute of my time.
You have been playing with me, haven't you? You knew very well there were forest Sauvignon berries in the station garden.
No, not at all. I've never seen your Sauvignon things.
You don't have to lie to me. I know all about it. You and the rectors are in cahoots, and the professor's lab has been turned into a distillery. You've all got a nice little smuggling racket on the side.
Smuggling racket? Hey, lady, you're going a bit far there. It's just a little on-the-side thing we got going, that's all. It's just for ourselves. Hey, be honest.
You should be ashamed of yourselves. Aren't you worried about the reputation of this fine university? The authorities should be informed of this.
But we haven't done anything wrong. It's not a crime.
Can you open the gate to the garden, please?
Sure. No problemo. Right away, miss. There you are. Please feel free to visit the garden at your leisure. And there was just one thing. I'm not a liar. Not really. Just mum's the word. There is the reputation of the university to think about. And I have superiors, and I have to do what I can.
I understand. Don't you worry.
Thank you, miss.
Hans, I have some very sad news. Our father is dead. He passed away peacefully last Sunday in his sleep. I feel so lonely now.
Father had been but a shadow of himself since your departure. I had to take care of everything for him. Housework, factory paperwork, the workforce, clients, everything. And now, today, well, I really don't know who or what I'm fighting for. Times are so hard, and this terrible war is destroying everything. Nobody cares for our automatons anymore. I just think about you returning. And when you do return, I will have turned this factory into a palace worthy of your genius. Please take care of yourself. I love you so much, Anna.
Impossible to reach it.
Miss, please, excuse me.
Yes?
You know, I want to apologize for our little misunderstanding. I brought you a bottle of wine. Barrackstadt Sauvignon. Very good year. Let me know what you think.
I'm very touched. Thank you.
Good luck on your journey, lady.
Thank you. Gentlemen, forgive me for disturbing you again, but I have a little problem.
A little problem, a little problem. Everyone has little problems now, you know.
They are kept to oneself, and they don't stop the world from turning.
Nor trains from leaving stations.
Gentlemen, I have managed to repair your university bandstand.
The bandstand is playing again. This is marvelous news.
We are really very grateful indeed.
Yes, very grateful indeed. We will look back on your visit with much fondness in our hearts.
And now let us in turn honor our word. How much is it you need, miss?
$100, if it's not too much to ask.
We agree to grant you the aforementioned sum, miss. You may now leave with your train.
And while we're on the subject, when will you be leaving?
Yes, because now you should relocate your train as quickly as possible. Here we are, busy chatting, and look at the clock. It's tea time.
Already? My word, doesn't time fly by?
Thank you for a charming visit, miss.
And thank you, gentlemen. Hey there! On the boat!
Guten Tag, schöne Mademoiselle!
My husband say, "Hello, young lady, you want to talk to us?"
It's not very polite of you to take advantage of my predicament. We could have done favors for each other.
Favor?
Excuse me?
My husband say, need money.
How would you know, a fancy lady like me? I'll leave you to it.
Das?
There you go. Here's your money. I've checked it. It's all there.
Ah, thank you. Not difficult get dollar. See? You are a real businesswoman.
I'm not the only one around here.
We pleased to do deal with you. Now, you open lock or we no help you.
Why didn't you manage to open them? After all, you don't have to be a genius.
Ma vad pensiroso esto, di kleine madam. No se sai mar alles non comprendo, en allora kaput en andere bordel. Zils war moi. On boom telefonieren, kaput.
My husband say, instructions complicated. No understand manual. My husband angry. Very angry. Oh, now telephone broke. Kaput.
Now that is annoying. What are you going to do next?
We wait repairman.
Well, I don't have the time to wait. I'll have to go have a look. There must be some way of releasing the opening mechanism.
Take key. Sailor always need key for lock.
Okay, thanks. Hello?
Kay, how's my little baby girl? I was thinking about you only yesterday because I saw this fantastic fur coat. You are wrapping up warm, aren't you? I mean, people in foreign countries never know how to dress properly for the weather.
Mom, it's so sweet of you to worry, but I'm fine, really. The trip's a breeze, no worries. I mean, there's...
Well, when are you coming back? Frank is dying to meet you.
Frank? Oh, yeah, your singer. You two seeing each other then?
Oh, you'll never guess the surprise he gave me yesterday.
No, I suppose I won't.
Frank invited me to a big charity show organized by, someone or another. Anyway, they got him singing a couple of old numbers from his repertoire, and in the end, he asked me to go up on stage with him. Can you imagine me, your mother, on stage in front of thousands of people?
Wow, I would have loved to have been there. Not too emotional, I hope.
Oh, too emotional by far, especially as I hadn't even been to the hairdresser. Well, I didn't even have the proper dress on. But Frank promised me he'd see to that next time. Oh, he's such a cutie. And he's got the sweetest little...
I'm sure he has, Mom.
It would be so good if you could join us one day. Let's see, when is his next gala? I'm so forgetful these days. I swear I'd lose my head if it weren't in the clouds. You just watch out, my girl. Them years will catch up with you much quicker than you think.
I'll look out for them, Ma. Nice to hear your voice. Lots of love.
Well, to you too, my little munchkin.